Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Conchita Martínez. Conchita Martínez Bernat is a Spanish former professional tennis player. She is the only Spanish player to have won the women's singles title at Wimbledon, where she beat Martina Navratilova to win the 1994 title. Martínez also was the singles runner-up at the 1998 Australian Open and the 2000 French Open. She reached her highest world ranking of number 2 in October 1995, and finished the season in the top 10 for 9 years. Martínez won 33 singles and 13 doubles titles during her 18-year career. She is currently the captain of the Spain Fed Cup team and the Spain Davis Cup team. 1988-1992, Breakthrough, Top 10, Grand Slam Quarterfinals. Born in Monzón, Martínez turned professional in 1988. At the age of just 16, she reached the fourth round at the French Open in her third professional tournament. She upset 9th seed Lori McNeil en route before losing to Bettina Fulco in 2 sets. In 1989, her breakthrough year, Martínez got rid of Sabatini to win the title at Tampa, and also won 2 Tier 5 tournaments. She also reached the quarterfinals of the French Open, losing to Steffi Graf. She finished the year world number 7. In 1990 and 1991, Martínez won a further 6 titles and again reached the quarterfinals at the French Open both years. The following year, Martínez was a silver medalist in doubles at the Olympic Games in Barcelona and the runner-up in women's doubles at the French Open. Once again, Martínez was a quarter-finalist at the French Open, losing a tight match with Sabatini. In 1992 she was runner-up in Indian Wells and San Diego. 1993-1996, highest ranking, Wimbledon singles title. In 1993, Martínez became the first Spanish woman since Lili de Alvarez in 1928 to reach the semi-finals at Wimbledon, where she lost to Steffi Graf in 2 sets. In November, Martínez defeated Graf for the first and only time in her career at a tournament in Philadelphia in the final. At the Italian Open, Martínez defeated Sabatini in the final in straight sets to become the first Spaniard to win the tournament since de Alvarez in 1930. She again reached the quarterfinals at the French Open for the 5th year in a row, losing a 2-hour, 45-minute 3-set battle with Anke Huber. Martínez reached the Wimbledon singles final in 1994, beating Renee Simpson, Nana Smith, Natalie Tauziat, Christine Kuntz and Lindsay Davenport in the quarterfinal, and Lori McNeil in the semi-finals, where the third set went to 10-8. Where she faced 9-time Wimbledon champion Martina Navratilova. Navratilova's last Wimbledon triumph had come 4 years earlier, but many observers felt that the 37-year-old Czech-born American was the favorite going into the match given her long track record of success on grass courts, whereas Martínez's most significant tournament victories up to that time had been on slower playing surfaces, particularly on clay courts. Martínez, however, won the match in 3 sets, and became the first Spanish woman to win Wimbledon. In 1995, Martínez was a semi-finalist at all 4 Grand Slam tournaments, and reached her career-high singles ranking of world number 2. In the Australian Open she beat Lindsay Davenport in the quarterfinals before losing to Mary Pierce in the semi-finals. At Wimbledon, Martínez beat Sabatini in the quarterfinals before losing to Arantxa Sánchez Vicario in the semi-finals. She also had a new coach that year, Carlos Kermeyer. In 1996, Martínez became the only player to win the Italian Open singles title 4 consecutive years after a straight sets victory in the final against 15-year-old Martina Hingis. She also partnered Sánchez Vicario to claim a women's doubles Olympic bronze medal in Atlanta. 1997-2006, out of top 10 and return, Australian and French Open runner-up. In 1998, Martínez reached her second career Grand Slam singles final at the Australian Open. She beat Lindsay Davenport in the semi-finals before losing to Martina Hingis in the final in straight sets. At the German Open in May, she defeated Amelie Mauresmo to win her first singles title in 18 months. She also helped Spain win the Fed Cup that year, beating Patti Schneider of Switzerland 6-3, 2-6, 9-7 in 3 hours, 19 minutes in the final. In January 2000, at the Australian Open, Martinez beat Elena Likovzeva in the quarterfinals after Likovzeva twice failed to serve for the match to reach the semi-finals, where she was beaten by Martina Hingis. Martinez reached the final of the French Open in 2000, where she lost to Mary Pierce in 2 sets after beating Sanchez Vicario in the semi-finals. She also won the German Open, beating Hingis in a semi-final and Amanda Kurtzer in the final. In 2001, Martinez was a runner-up in the women's doubles at the French Open. Martinez also reached the quarterfinals at Wimbledon for the first time in 6 years, but lost to Justine Henin of Belgium. In 2003, Martinez reached her last Grand Slam quarterfinal in the French Open, losing to Kim Clijsters. Also that year, she reached the final at Eastbourne, losing to Chanda Rubin. Martinez won her second Olympic silver medal in the women's doubles in 2004 in Athens, Greece. In 2005, Martinez won her first singles title in 5 years at Pattaya, Thailand. It was her last singles title, bringing her career total to 33 top-level singles titles, 9 of which were Tier 1 events, and 13 doubles titles. On 15 April 2006, aged 33, and after 18 years of playing professionally, she announced her retirement, having won more professional singles tournaments than any other Spanish female tennis player. In 2008, 2009 and 2010, Martinez played at Wimbledon in the Ladies' Invitations doubles. In 2010, her partner in doubles was Natalie Tauziat. Singles. Senior. The ratio of the number of Grand Slam singles tournaments won to the number of those tournaments played. Tournament either not held or was not classified as a Tier 1 event on the Women's Tennis Association Tour. At the time it was held. Thank you for watching. Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Please like and subscribe below. Please like and subscribe below.